What we want to try and do is ask you a few things on the professional side as well as the personal side, because I think you're an inspiration to many people and you've been an outspoken advocate of many issues. And I'm going to start with the professional side first because we'll get that out of the way and we'll probably come to the personal side, the more interesting one as we go along. And one of the things is that you see, and I think it's happened a lot in the last 6 months or so, you see JV Diamond talking about profit with purpose and it's more than just shareholders. But one of the early proponents, when you started this whole thing of saying better for you, and I think Paulman and Nooyi were talking about how we need to just more than just maximize shareholder value. And now I think Pepsi is talking about, plastics is important and all that. So as a business leader, what does profit with purpose really mean? And how do you actually balance it in this brutal world where somebody doesn't deliver results and you had activists, you had people chasing you. So how do you actually look at that? How do you balance that?
So I have to go back and make sure you guys do your homework on PepsiCo first. Very important, alright? So let me go back. Let me take you back to when I became CEO. When I became CEO back in 2006, I inherited a company that was performing very well. Profitability was terrific. We had years and years of great performance. So, people say that, you're lucky you got such a great company. The problem is it's easier to turn around a failing company than to keep the performance of a successful company going, because you've got to build on a great legacy, and people say, boy, your predecessor did such a good job. What made you slow the growth rate down? So turning around a successful company is harder than turning around a problematic company. So I inherited a good company, but the environment around us was getting very squirmy. Lots of things were changing. There was an increased focus on health and wellness. People were beginning to focus on water usage because, beverages uses a lot of water. We generate a lot of plastic. People are beginning to worry about landfills being filled up and where's all the plastic going to go. And many sectors of industry were taking away the best and the brightest. So we had to create an environment in the company where we could not only bring the best and the brightest, but retain them. Because PepsiCo was a talent academy. We brought people in and trained them, everybody else wanted them. I remember when I was on the Yale board, we needed a CFO for Yale University. The headhunter came in with 10 people on the list. 9 of them were from PepsiCo. So PepsiCo was a talent academy for finance, for HR, for operations, for sales, for marketing. So our challenge was, how do we create an unusual environment in PepsiCo so that people stayed there? But how do we do all that while we also deliver financial returns? And that's how performance with purpose was formed. Performance with purpose. Very important, because those are important words to say, we're going to continue to perform, but we're going to do it with a sense of purpose. And the sense of purpose was, we were going to transform the portfolio. Overnight, you can't just throw out the products we were making. So the core portfolio, reduce the fat, sugar, and salt. Dial up the good-for-you products. Reduce the water usage, reduce plastic usage, reduce your greenhouse gases. And create a completely new environment in PepsiCo, where anybody can come in feeling like they can bring their whole self to work. And make sure that people who are different, like women and minorities, never felt that they were different. So we wanted to make sure we got the best out of everything.
And did you face a pushback because of this from other stakeholders, the board, activists, people saying?
You never embark on a brand new strategy without having the board in your corner. So the key thing we did, which is very important for all of you, you don't just articulate a strategy. You start with saying, what are the mega trends that are going to impact your business? Once you know what the mega trends are, the strategy follows from the mega trends. So if anybody questions your tactics or your strategy, always go back to the mega trends. So for example, people say, why do you have to make the shift to healthier products? Pepsi tastes great, Lay's tastes great, Doritos tastes great. Why don't you reduce the salt in those products? Because we are on a campaign to shift the portfolio to be healthier. Why? Because the consumer is shifting to health and wellness. Why is the consumer shifting? Because they want to go for prevention rather than cure, because lifestyles have become sedentary and people have to figure out how to eat and drink differently so that they don't have any lifestyle issues. So you've always got to trace your actions and strategy back to a megatrend. So the first thing we did was articulate the mega trends, articulate the strategies and the plans that have to come out of the mega trends, and the kind of people we needed to execute the strategy. And with that document, we got the board completely educated, got all our executives educated on this. So anybody who came, an activist investor comes in and says, are you Mother Teresa? Why do you have to invest in shifting the portfolio to healthy products? Okay, now so let me tell you why we're doing this. We're doing this because this is the mega trend. Do you question the mega trend? So absolutely not. I've changed my own eating and drinking habits. So why shouldn't I change the portfolio? Okay, and so if you always anchor your direction onto a trend that you didn't create, and it has been created by society, nobody can question it. But once the board buys into the megatrend, the downside is that if you don't follow the strategy that you laid out, the board holds you accountable and says, wait a minute, what happened to performance of purpose? Why are you doing this? Aren't you supposed to be focusing on health and wellness? Why are you launching more high sugar products? Which was great because they held me accountable for my strategy. So that's how we address the activists, and we might have been the only company where the activists got nothing from us.
There's a lesson in that, I'm sure. But do you see now that more and more people are kind of jumping onto this? The CEO roundtable talked about this. It's more than just a shareholder. Do you see this now becoming, this whole responsibility becoming a larger mega trend for corporate CEOs to follow?
I'm not sure that's a mega trend itself because, I mean, think about this. What have we said in the statements? We've said, we're now going to treat our customers and suppliers and employees very fairly and humanely. The question it begs is, what were you doing all this time? Right? Because you would think that a responsible company treats its customers and suppliers and everybody else in its ecosystem fairly and humanely. Okay? In a way, I think I commend the BRT statement because it is 181 companies, multiple industries coming together and saying, we are going to balance the level of returns and the duration of returns. In the past, the focus was only on the level of returns. How fast can we hit the accelerator? How strongly can we hit the accelerator to deliver as much profits in the shortest time? Now we're saying, how can we deliver good returns but invest for the long term? So worry about the balance between level and duration of returns. And I interpreted the BRT statement as saying, we're going to judiciously balance the level and duration of returns. Now, it's only a statement. The proof of the pudding is, do you follow it up with metrics, tangible action? Are we going to see something different? In our case, we made the investments in R&D, we made the investments in design, we changed our product portfolio, and we published all the metrics and the progress against the metrics. Will the BRT do it? We'll find out.